Ready? Welcome everybody to the Rotary Club of Lexington. Bill Bird, you ready for the pledge, four-way test, and inspiration? Come on down. Let's give it up for Bill. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hello, my fellow Rotarians. I am going to speak first a little bit about Lent since we have started the
Do the
season.
pledge first, please.
Do the pledge first?
Yes.
Oh, okay, it's going to change my
Okay, no.
spiel, but
Dealer's choice, dealer's choice.
okay, let me go with this first.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The observance of Lent started approximately 327. I don't use the term Common Era AD. And it is historically 40 weekdays from Ash Wednesday to Easter. And the question of why 40, there are several links. Jesus spent 40 days wandering the wilderness. Moses and the Hebrews spent 40 years wandering in the desert. And Noah had to wait 40 days after he built the ark before it would launch. It's a fasting observance for most of my friends and fellow Christians. Mardi Gras is interesting to me because it was in preparation for Lent that you would have this great week of celebration, or more than a week in some cases. And then with the last day being Fat Tuesday. I used to observe that for most of my adult life. Abstinence is also a hallmark of Lent. People, in addition to fasting, would give up certain vices. Abstinence from chocolate, for example. Abstinence from watching television. That would be a tough one, but also abstinence from sexual relations for 40 days. That'd be tough. I guess then you go forth and prosper. Okay, we're going to go to the pledge, and I just want to make a couple of quick comments about the pledge. I guess I'm one of those older people now, I worry for my next generation as my grandparents worried for my parents and my parents worried for me. There's so much divisiveness in our world today, and in our country in particular. I have so many friends here that we might stand on one side or another side of an issue, but we all have a common pride in our country. And I am so proud that I am a part of Rotary and that we still say the Pledge of Allegiance. Many places don't observe this. And it's very easy to take a rote approach with the pledge and just say it off the cuff and not think about family members that may have died for the defense of our country. Other families that were impacted more than one time by that kind of suffering. Keep this in mind as we pledge our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you, my friends.
Thank you, Bill. And now for the introductions of guests. Rod Hatzler, come on down.
Well, we do have several guests today that I'm happy to welcome. If you would, you'd stand when I call your name. Actually, the first two people I'm going to introduce have applied for membership and will be introduced in the near future as new members. Cole Myers, a guest of Peggy over here. And Larry Spell is a Rotarian from Salt Lake City, so he's going to be joining us too in the future. Eric Eaton is a guest of Paul Stanley. Eric, you're there, good deal. Jennifer Hicks is Linda Weaver's guest up here in front. And Sam Overby is a guest of Joe Evans. Okay, great. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Rod. And now for our lottery, Bruce Daly. And what's our total? $876, and we are looking for the Jack, still the Jack of Hearts. All right, I'm gonna pull one, and then I'm gonna pull another. And the first number, 4040. 40, 40, 40, 40. Hey, Barry, we got one. In the event Barry doesn't win, 4056.
40, 40, here we go.
Hey! Oh, close but no cigar. Thank you for playing.
Thank you, sir.
Franklin, here we go. Trust but confirm. Franklin. Oh, right suit, wrong card. Thank you, Franklin, for playing. Appreciate that, Bruce. Appreciate everybody participating in the lottery. Celebrating birthdays. We've got Darby Turner. Happy birthday, Darby. Sarah Diener and DG Gridley. Let's give the last verse of the birthday verse on 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Hey. Some announcements on March 15th. Is that the Saturday, right? That's the Saturday for the St. Patrick's Day Parade. Please join us and walk in the Rotary group in the parade. Last year, it was a lot of fun. Bring your friends, bring your family, and we'll walk behind the big Rotary banner during the St. Patrick's Day Parade. We're going to meet at 12:45 at the Thoroughbred Park on the corner of Midland and Main. That's 12:45. So participate and celebrate St. Patrick's Day Rotary style. All right, second announcement, doing Rotary differently. And come out on April 16th to Shiloh Miracle League's park. We're gonna have a social. And in that social, we're gonna get to meet some new members. We're gonna have some social refreshments and snacks. And what better way to show what Rotary is really doing in the market to to explain what we've been able to do at Miracle League. So April 16th, see us then. That's going to be from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. All right, and now Linda for Dancing with the Lexington Stars update. We've got a phenomenal bunch of items, and here to share one of those, Linda Weaver, come on down.
Good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. I'm excited to share some of the successes of Dancing with the Lexington Stars. It's our major fundraiser that we do for the club, and this supports all the nonprofits that we want to help during the year, which are about 30 of them. We have secured 8 dance teams, and Baby Health Services has been selected as our featured beneficiary this year. The event will be May 10th at the Carrick House. We have a presenting sponsor. We have 4 gold sponsors, a silver sponsor, 2 bronze sponsors, and 12 shining stars. We are still looking for a co-presenting sponsor, which that's about a $160,000 value with media because all the stations support us both with paid ads and PSAs. So there's a lot of exposure for our co-presenting sponsor and other sponsors. For the live auction, we have some fun stuff. Okay, first off, we have a white gold dancing diamond necklace that we featured on a model. That's from the Castle Jewelry. And I don't know, there's the Rock House. This is amazing. This is from Stayover Cabins. The Rock House is designed for those people who love music, okay? Each of the 4 bedrooms are featured about music legends. It has a live karaoke stage with a guitar. It has a party room that you can do poker around. It has the fire pit here. This is the karaoke stage, the living room, fireplace. It's an amazing cabin. It will hold up to 8 guests and it's for the weekend. I combine this with a giant basket that Liquor Barn gives me with Kentucky branded products. So it's a wonderful for the auction. And now we have Susan going around the room. She's going to be featuring an incredible 14 karat gold diamond cluster ring that Sheila Bays has donated generously this year. The ring's value is over $1,590. It's gorgeous. So that's going to be another feature. We're looking for 2 more unique and desirable live auction items at this time. When I was recently securing gift cards from a new donor, which PF Chang's, he asked me to tell him more about Rotary. So I talked about our projects and what we do in the community. And he said, I want to get more involved. So we talked about Dancing with the Stars, and he volunteered to provide all the food for our dancers in the upstairs room. And he's going to deliver it to the event. He's never done anything with us. So now he's being a real community leader. Susan has some cards to give out to you that he's offered to us, a free appetizer with a $40 meal. They're good through April. So I think it's important we support these people who are supporting us in this cause. Now I'll talk a little bit about silent auction items. Via Media provided us an iPad Air brand new. This is a unique one, Mid-American coin. We have a sterling silver coin necklace with an over 2,000-year-old Roman coin in it. Something very, very unique. Carson's gave us dinner for 4 at either of their restaurants. Marriott gave us an evening. Tony's gave us a gift card for the steakhouse downtown. Tower Suite at the Castle. Everybody likes the Kentucky Castle. Caesars gave us the legendary dinner evening package, which is the hotel room at Caesars and a dinner at the steakhouse for them. J. Alexander's, last year they gave us 1 dinner for 2. This year they gave us 3 dinners for 2. Okay, we can always use more silent auction items, so please contribute or secure donations from the people that you're working with. If we're looking to improve the gift bags for the sponsors, these are the people who support us, the sponsors and the dancers. Right now, Highbridge Springs, the water company, is giving us 50 milliliter bottles of the old limestone mixing water. And Arthur Murray Stews is giving free dance lesson cards. And Liquor Barn's working with their district manager to probably possibly do some glassware that's going to go in the bags. But I'm looking for more items so that we can have nicer gift bags. We're in the countdown right now. We got 10 weeks to go. This event is May 10th. So we like to invite Rotary members to join the committee now to help us get over the hurdle as far as there's a lot to do. We would greatly help your support. Thank you so much.
Give it up to Linda, your hustle and what you're doing to bring all these great things to Dancing with the Lexington Stars is so appreciated. Join Linda, support this event. Thank you so much. Really, really looking forward to it. All right, we mentioned the social on April 16th at Miracle League. I'd like to bring Elaine O'Brien up to talk about our philanthropic responsibilities with the Miracle League. Elaine.
I am recruiting for committee members for the Miracle League Committee. Some years ago, Kevin Weaver, during his presidency of this club, saw a Miracle League down in Atlanta, came back here, put together support from this club, Toyota, and the Y, and we've constructed a special field at Shiloh Park that is safe for handicapped children to play ball on. We have 2 seasons every year, spring and fall, 6 weekends, 6 Saturdays. And on opening day for each season, we, as our Miracle League committee, sponsors the picnic. It's not a big time commitment, but it's one of the most heartening things that we do. Could I have a show of hands for my existing committee members here today? If you have any interest in helping us with this, please talk to any one of us. Tony Barrett is now serving as the chair of the board of Miracle League and is doing a wonderful job. And we would love to have any of you join us if you're available, or if you have any group or organization that might like to sponsor one of the other picnics for the other 5 Saturdays. We're feeding north of 250 people now. The need for this kind of opportunity for these kids to have a safe place to go is really overwhelming. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Eileen. Great work. Boy, if you haven't been, do yourself a favor, attend. It is your just heart explodes for these amazing people that Rotary helps. All right, boy, I love it when we're right on time. I'd like to bring up Laurel to introduce today's featured speaker.
Good afternoon, you all. As a part of an international organization, Rotary Club of Lexington has the opportunity to apply for an international grant. And as many of you all know, we in fact are part of an international grant. We are partnering with clubs in London, England, and Nigeria. And we have support from our district, District 6740. And we were awarded a Rotary Foundation Global Grant totaling $175,000. This grant has been in place since 2021, and it's been a little bit since I think we've all collectively been able to hear about what we're doing, the impact it's having, and why it's so important. So I'm delighted to have this program here for you all today. One of our members, I think, really deserves a shout out as we think about this work and this project. Jack McAllister has really been the champion for this. He has been working hard on this, and he's not able to be with us today, but I think in many ways this is also a chance for us to thank him for his work. The focus of this grant is to connect. Oh, that's great. Let's clap. I love that. Thank you. The focus of this grant is to allow for the installation of septic systems in Leslie County, Kentucky, or to connect homes in the Hayden-Leslie County Water District to water lines. Today, we want to learn more about why this project is so important. As many of you all have probably heard, Eastern Kentucky has some of the poorest water quality in the United States, and this global grant is really focused on improving the quality of life for our citizens that live in that area. Kentucky Waterways Alliance is our partner in that effort, and I am delighted to have Laura Gregory with us here today to talk about their work and to give us a bit of a context about the work that's being done and why the need is so great. Laura?
Hello, everybody. Yes, like Laurel said, my name is Laura Gregory. I work for Kentucky Waterways Alliance. We're a statewide nonprofit. We're based out of Louisville, Kentucky. That's where our main office is and 5 of our staff members. But we also have several staff members in Eastern Kentucky. I'm one of those. I should say our mission is to protect, restore, and celebrate the waterways of Kentucky. So for 5.5 years, I was the Red River Watershed Coordinator in the Red River Gorge area, Wolf, Powell, and Menifee County. We have a septic assistance program there. We do education and outreach. These are some examples. We do cleanups on the river. I've done some mural projects with Kentucky Arts Council and students. We do stream sampling. That's with Watershed Watch. That's actually anybody can get involved with that. It's community volunteer stream sampling efforts to help show what's actually happening in our waterways. I do a couple other things. I'm a musician. We've got a pottery business, but we're talking about septic today. And specifically, I want to talk about our project in Redbird River. So we have the Red River and the Redbird River EPA 319 funded projects, which now I'm managing. I'm now in a statewide position at KWA, and we have watershed coordinators on the ground in both Red River and Redbird. In Redbird River, we're working in Leslie, Bell, and Clay counties. So I've lived in Kentucky since 2009. Several places. I live in Wolf now. I've lived in Powell before. And for 3.5 years, I actually lived in Leslie County. When I moved there, it was my husband was going to school at the Bluegrass and Traditional Music School there. And we moved into this fantastic shack, and it was, you know, halfway surrounded by this great creek right here. It had the only covered bridge in Leslie County to get from the parking area to our house. You know, as anyone might do, we were enjoying the creek, walking up and down the creek, just getting to know our new surroundings. When I noticed on the hillside some white specks, I'm like, what is that? That looks like toilet paper. What is that pipe? It looks like it's coming from our house. And I was introduced to straight pipes. I never knew about straight piping before. This is unfortunately common practice. We didn't own this home, and and to be clear, straight piping is from your toilet, usually to a creek. So we dealt with it how we could for the 3.5 years that we lived in that home. You know, the house was built on a landslide area. It's on stilts, you know, it's an interesting place. People are resilient. They come up with ways to deal with their own waste. We know this. And this is one of the ways that these people were doing that. We decided not to. We dealt with it in new ways. And I'm telling you this because it's just an example of a common practice, or there's failing septic systems and people are not aware always of what's going on in their own home or in a home that they're renting. So these are some photos of septic systems that we have replaced in the Redbird River area. These were in Leslie and Clay County. So this is an old system that you can see is full of holes. It was not as crumpled when it was in the ground, but as it was removed, it got crumpled like that. The one on the bottom, you can see how there's greener, taller grass in that photo. That is evidence of a failing system as well, because you're getting that extra nutrients from your system. And that's an example on the top of a straight pipe system that's not going into a creek, but it's just in a backyard. So I should also mention that our project, where it's EPA funded, is through Division of Water that we get our funding, and you have to do a whole watershed planning process in order to receive that funding. So we have a lot of evidence showing that these streams are impaired actually due to bacteria in the water, which is what has started us working on a septic assistance program. Why is it important? Like I said, people just don't know what's going on with their systems a lot of time. They don't even know if they have a septic system or if it's working. And we are working in low income areas where people may be having a hard time even getting shoes or clothes or food, let alone dealing with pumping out their system every 5 years like you're supposed to. So this is just an example of one of the ways that we let people know about our project. This was an announcement that went out in the newspaper, asking people about their system, if they know if they have a system, if they can, if it's failing, and letting them know that we have free septic systems for them. They just need to come and sign up. We do workshops to let them know. Oh, and this is our boundary. So we work in the Redbird River watershed, which is a very specific boundary based on where the water is flowing to the Redbird River. So, and we work with Forest Service on this project as well. This is in the Redbird District. So this is a brochure from previous years when they were managing the project. So this is Lois Smith. She is our local Redbird River watershed coordinator. She does a lot of outreach at Redbird Mission where people know to come to get resources. So she does large workshops, small workshops, one-on-one workshops. She's worked with UK professors to teach about septic care and maintenance. she's vital to our project, and actually, in doing the work and doing the outreach, at Redbird Mission and at other events in the area, she often finds people that are either out of our income guidelines or out of our, geographic area that we can work. And so, that is really how we've been working with Rotary, is that we, refer people to the Rotary program. There's actually, so y'all are doing the Leslie County one, and then London Rotary has a project in Clay County. So depending on where the people are that might be out of our boundaries, we refer them to Rotary, which is a really great resource because the need is evident there. I won't get into septic care too much, but I'm just wondering, I'm guessing that most of y'all are on city sewer lines, but maybe some people have septic systems here. So these are, and maybe you don't, but this is the basics of a septic system. It's a pipe that runs from your house to a septic tank, and then there's a leach field, and actually the soil is very important for filtering the water that comes out of the septic system. It's a whole thing. This is a lunch talk, so I'm not gonna get into it too much. And who's responsible for septic maintenance? It's the homeowner. Once the septic system goes in, the environmentalist in the county, you know, does their permitting. Y'all might be aware of this with your project. I'm not exactly sure where you are in the septic installs of the project, but you know, we do a site assessment to know what needs to happen, what kind of system can go in. And then after the system is installed, the environmentalist gives the okay, and then it's all on the homeowner. There's very little information that's passed along when a home is sold to someone else. So, and depending on when the home was built, the environmentalist may or may not have information on the septic system for that home. There's 4 things that are especially important. Inspecting your system every year. You can hire someone to do that. Pumping it out every 3 to 5 years. Of course, that depends on how many people live in the home, what size the system is, and if water is used efficiently, because depending on how much water is going into that system, it gets full quicker. And yeah, you really can't dispose of hazardous materials, and you don't want to drive over any of this. You know, it gets covered with soil, gets covered with grass, and then it's easy to forget about it and drive over it. You can't do that. Some other examples of things that you can do to protect your system, not flushing garbage, you know, even garbage disposals. You know, you just think anything that's going down your drain is going into your system, and it's filling that up. And you want to redirect surface water that's like coming off of the street or your driveway, and keeping records, because again, it's on the homeowner. Common ways of knowing that your system is failing. It's easy to know when it's coming back into your house, and that's usually when people care. But there might be gurgling. Again, this photo is an example of where you see like the grass is being fertilized extra, maybe up near your septic system or your leach field. And of course, if you have a well or spring and also a septic system, you might be extra concerned because you might be contaminating your own drinking water. Of course, I think it's a concern no matter what, because we're all connected upstream and downstream. If you're contaminating the groundwater or the stream near you, you're contaminating your neighbor's water. You know, these waterways are where a lot of us get drinking water. Just to mention, there's great EPA resources on septic maintenance. There's a septic care week. I believe it's in September, where they do lots of promotion about septic care. They have great rhymes to help you remember to protect it and inspect it. Think at the sink. Don't overload the commode. Shield your field. Don't strain your drain. I won't go into all the details, but there's the kind of covered up website that you can go to find lots of great tips. These are things that we provide folks that we're educating and doing these free installs. I recommend to all of our septic assistance folks that they put one of these signs in their bathroom or in their kitchen because you know, it just feels so magic to be able to flush the toilet and it just goes away and it's not a problem anymore. But it's a problem for someone or for your system, and it can be very costly. So you really can't flush these things down your toilet. There's some really fun environmental ed that you can do with kids where you shake up water and put these different things in it and see what dissolves. The only thing that dissolves is the toilet paper. So just good to keep in mind. Like I said, keeping records is really important. So we provide these when we give our septic systems out. We recommend that you know, even do a little chart of where it is, because you just can't guarantee that someone else is going to do that for you. And then keeping track of when you've maintained it, when you've pumped it out. Also, like I said, you know, we're dealing with low-income families where it's hard to plan for these services. A pump out costs around $350 every 5 years. It might not seem like that much, but it definitely can be. So we even suggest, you know, saving $5 at a time so that you can be planning on that long-term maintenance. Here's some financing options that this is from that EPA website as well. There's lots of federal grants, but they are, you know, some can be more or less difficult in the paperwork or in the requirements that you must meet to qualify. And of course, we've got some local groups that are doing septic assistance. So we're really excited that Rotary is down in Leslie and London, or excuse me, Leslie and Bell counties surrounding our projects. Like I said, we're working in Redbird and Red River area. Bluegrass Green Source is right here in Lexington, and they have a program similar, also EPA 319 funded. They work in Hingston Creek and other creeks that I can't remember right now. And Redbird Mission, they're one of our main partners in Eastern Kentucky Pride. Eastern Kentucky Pride has a multi-million-dollar grant that any minute now they're going to start working in their whole 42 county Eastern Kentucky region, doing installs with that. These are some, and definitely not all, groups in Kentucky working on this. Okay. Like I said, we're all connected upstream and downstream. When I'm talking about Redbird River watershed and that boundary that I've been talking about, that's all the land and the water that leads to Redbird River. When working on EPA 319 funded projects, we get very watershed specific because that's how things run with Division of Water. And you know, it's not really looking at these county boundaries, these city boundaries. It's looking at the way that water actually flows. And so, and one of the big things that we always say is, well, it's a Wendell-Berry quote: "Do unto those downstream, as you would have those do, as you would have those upstream do unto you." So just really keeping in mind that we all have an impact on those around us through our waterways. Why is it important? That's what we're trying to instill in people. You know, it's a human health concern when we have failing septic systems. It's an environmental health concern. People care more or less about that, but definitely human health is very important to everyone. You know, we want water that is drinkable, swimmable, fishable for now and the future. I am going to end with, I want to give enough time to talk or to answer any questions, but I wanted to end on some positive notes here. These are some quotes from families who we have helped in the Redbird River area. And this is a family that we have helped. You know, it really means a lot to me when it's really hard to understand how difficult it is for people to do this maintenance, or the fact that they're living with sewage in their backyard where their kids are playing, where they're growing their garden. It's it's really hard to deal with, and it's really meaningful that we are making an impact by providing this assistance to low-income families who really need the help. So I think that what we're doing is extremely important. Rotary, KWA, all these groups that are providing this service. I don't know if y'all can read that. I would say, not leaking in the yard where the kids play anymore. Ours hadn't been pumped in 30 years. It was spilling out into our vegetable garden. Now no more leaking. Everything drains better now, doesn't back up anymore. Septic is not standing in the yard anymore, and the smell is gone. So just some examples there. So we're really proud to have helped these families. Also, on a larger scale, the last 15 miles of Redbird River has been delisted for primary contact recreation due to bacteria. So that is one of the impairments that we have been working to improve on the water quality in this watershed. And in 2022, it was proposed to be delisted, and it was just in the 24 integrated report to Congress that it was delisted. So that shows that what we are doing is making a really positive impact on water quality. It takes a while for that evidence to show in the waterways. So we're really glad that it did. Division of Water did their multi-month sampling effort to prove that that water had changed. And I should mention, we have to date put in 23 septic systems in the Redbird River area, pumped out 30, I believe it is. I forgot to write these numbers down, but it's around that. And we have 8 more that we are putting in this year. And we have already applied for the next round of funding. Of course, who knows what's going to happen with EPA funding, but we hope that it continues to help us improve this. And in the meantime, I'm really psyched that there's $172,000 going into Leslie County as well. And I'd love to be part of helping with anything that y'all need on your project as well. And Lois Smith as well, who's in that area. So I've left enough time for a little bit of questions if y'all have any. Yeah.
But what do you do when there's only wooded areas like we have in Appalachia? Because I know you don't put trees over the drain field to keep the roots from busting up those pipes, or they just have to clear the trees out.
Right. So that's part of what the environmentalist does when they do their site assessment, is because there are alternative systems that you can put in. I did not go into that really, but yeah, there's a variety of systems, and yes, sometimes maybe a tree needs to be taken out. And that is part of the reason that sometimes people don't have systems, because they might, like in my first example of where I first lived in Leslie County, there really wasn't a way to put a septic system in on our landslide area. You need flat ground, you need it to be a certain distance from the stream. And yeah, you can't have tree roots that might be growing into it. So that is a challenge.
But there are alternatives that can be used.
There are alternative systems, yes. There are smaller systems. There are, I forget what they're called right now. But they're less like wetland systems, which, but when you get into alternative systems, lots of times more maintenance is required, which can be a challenge. Yeah. Yes.
Being here today, I know you're primarily involved in septic systems, but I wanted to ask you if you have any concerns about Senate Bill 89, which of course is leaving waterways, groundwater, vulnerable to pollution possibly, and especially in eastern Kentucky. And I wanted to know if this is something that you and your group have discussed, and if you have serious concerns about it.
Yes, he was asking about Senate Bill 89. KWA has actually been leading the way on opposing SB 89 with Kentucky Resources Council, Sierra Club, and Kentucky Conservation Committee. It was actually supposed to go up for a vote today in the House. It already passed in the Senate and was going to the House. And the word that we got is because of all of the effort that was put in and thousands of people calling to oppose it, they actually have stalled that vote. And we're hoping that they are considering making an amendment, which is why they're stalling. So yeah, it would make a big impact to our waterways because it does remove the protections for groundwater and for non-navigable streams. And so the metaphor that we've been using is it's like telling the police to only police the major roadways and not any of the smaller roads. And it's just not a good system. We really firmly believe that the change to the wording would be very negative for our Kentuckians, for the waterways, for our groundwater. You know, over 1 million people rely on groundwater, from municipal supplies to personal systems. So, yeah, you can call your legislator and ask them to oppose Senate Bill 89. Okay, yes. Yep. Yeah, it's very quick. There's, you can write emails. There's, we've been sharing on KWA's, if you go on any of KWA's, social media, or if you're on our newsletter, we've been sending out lots of newsletters with that same information that you just said. Yeah, the number to call, who to leave the message for, and what to say. And yeah, 2 minutes or less. It's very quick. Yes.
Who's behind that? What's the-
It is sponsored by Cole. Yeah. It's, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I understand the Supreme Court limited the EPA's ability to reduce raw sewage directly into water. What's your take?
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
Yeah, the Supreme Court recently ruled that the EPA doesn't have the ability to limit raw sewage going into the water.
Well, I'm unaware of that, actually. From municipal systems.
Haven't read the details.
Oh.
You have.
I'm sorry, but I'm actually unaware of that, so I can't really speak to that. Okay, we've got the number. I'm gonna say it. It's 800-372-7181. They'll just ask you your name and your zip code and what you're calling about. I say no on SB 89. 800-372-7181.
It's the Legislative Research Commission, LRC.
Mhm. It's their main line.
Any other questions?
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
That was wonderful, Laura. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Lexington and our very own Bill Strauss, we have a lithograph for you taking the time to share with us today.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And if anybody has any questions, are you available just immediately afterwards?
Yes.
Great. You know, this Rotary International, these international deals like this, you know, we were in India providing electricity, but this one we can really be extra proud of because it's in our own backyard, and clean water and septic. My goodness, what a great thing that this club is doing. And currently, to date, there's 2 families that have been a part of our program that have been hooked up to this septic solution. So great news on that. Kim, I believe we're having a Dancing with the Lexington Stars committee meeting following this. If you haven't been involved yet and you'd like to get involved, join us for that. And we'll see you next week. We are adjourned.